Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is still doing well, and welcome to today's bonus upload. This is pre-recorded. I still have not been out of surgery, or I am incapable of recording anything, so that's why I did a couple pre-recorded uploads. Before we get into this, a couple links. As many of you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, and channel membership is in the description below. Merch is displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It does not cost a cent. Click the like button. It takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads that I put out daily, click that bell icon, and folks, please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all of these things really do help this channel to continue to grow and go, and yes, they definitely matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump in to this bonus upload, shall we? Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is still doing well, and welcome to tonight's middle of the night bonus upload. Before we jump into it, a couple links. As you all know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, channel membership is in the description below. Merch is displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It doesn't cost a cent. Click that like button, takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads I put out daily, click that bell icon, and folks, please leave a comment. Why? Well, because these things really do help this channel to continue to grow and go. And folks, they definitely do matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump in to tonight's middle of the night bonus upload, shall we? The Joshua Tree National Park is an American national park in southeastern California, east of Los Angeles and near Palm Springs. It's named after Joshua trees native to the Mojave Desert. Originally declared a national monument in 1936, Joshua Tree was redesignated as a national park in '94 when the U.S. Congress passed the California Desert Protection Act, encompassing a total of 790,636 acres, slightly larger than the state of Rhode Island. The park includes 429,690 acres of designated wilderness, straddling San Bernardino and Riverside counties. The park includes parts of two deserts, each an ecosystem whose characteristics are determined primarily by elevation. The higher Mojave Desert and the lower Colorado Desert. The Little San Bernardino Mountains traverse the southwest edge of the park. Joshua Tree National Park, and to the greater extent the surrounding Mojave Desert, has always had a morbid vibe. In the early 1900s, it was a lawless place where miners killed each other over claims. In the 60s, Charles Manson plied his followers with acid at the nearby Barker Ranch in Death Valley National Park. And not too much later, Graham Parsons' buddies hauled his body and casket out to Joshua Tree, set it on fire. Death seems to be drawn to this desert, so it should come as little surprise that bodies are constantly being found here. 5 years ago, after 4 bodies of the McStay family were found
Former Deputy Chief of San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, Keith Bushy, said, "If there were a cross everywhere someone was found, the desert would look like forest lawn." In the past month, at least 2 more corpses were found within Joshua Tree's boundaries. The first was skeletal remains discovered in early May by a hiker near Stub Spring Loop, a 13-mile trail over fairly difficult terrain. "It was all bones," says George Lands, the park's public information officer. Forensic specialists investigated the scene, and the remains are now with the Riverside County Coroner's Office until they can be identified. Lance says he's waiting on DNA tests to come back, and that there are a few open missing persons cases they think could match. At this point, they're working on an assumption that the death was accidental. That was certainly not the case with the second body. A hiker discovered whose remains near Bighorn Pass Road, partially buried about 2 feet down. As the gas is released, the putrefaction sets in. "We have a number of scavengers out here, like coyotes and vultures, and they were digging at the lower half. As Lance points out, bodies don't bury themselves, so when rangers arrived on the scene, they shut down the area while police investigate. The case is now in the hands of Riverside Central Homicide Unit. 2 bodies in the span of 1 month is certainly abnormal, but it's not shocking. The same qualities that have made the desert around Joshua Tree ideal for a weekend getaway, combination of ease of access and remoteness, also make it a convenient place to dump bodies. The entire Mojave Desert is about 50,000 square acres, and its defining geographic characteristics are the Joshua Tree, of course, and its otherworldly desolation. It's a few hours from any major city. 3 interstates connect it to metropolises like LA, Phoenix, and Vegas. For a long time, the Mojave, though not specifically Joshua Tree, was rumored to be cemetery for Vegas mobsters. Joe Pesci said in the Mafia movie Casino, "There are a lot of holes in the deserts, and a lot of problems are buried in these holes." No corpses have been found in the Mojave rolled up in carpet recently, not since the 2000s. But in 2014, a 19-year-old woman was strangled by her lover, and her body was found dumped at the bottom of an abandoned mine shaft just outside of Joshua Tree. Last fall, a couple was found in the remote region of the park, dead beneath the Joshua Tree, and locked in what seemed to be a last loving embrace as they tried to cool themselves in the shade. Of course, not all bodies end up in the desert through suspicious means. Like many parks these days, visitation in Joshua Tree is way up. More than 3 million are expected to fight for its 3,000 parking spots and wander the trails this year, double the visitors from 5 years ago. Some blame the recent boom on the nearby Coachella Music Festival and the social media-induced loved to death syndrome that's plagued so many of our parks. U2 certainly deserves some blame as well. Meanwhile, staffing in Joshua Tree has remained the same. About 110 paid employees watch over 1,200 square miles of land, some of the hottest in the United States, where it's easy to become lost in the famous red stone mounds that give Joshua Tree its Martian look. All those extra visitors mean more people who wander off the trail, and some of them die. In April, a 76-year-old man named David Swell was lost for 3 days. Rescuers found him circling vultures overhead. When they spotted Swell, he was on death's edge, covered in dirt and curled around a rock. Swell was lucky, but, as written before, about 1,600 other people who have gone missing on public land were not so fortunate. The thing that sets Joshua Tree and the Mojave apart from other places where people disappear, however, is the stunning regularity at which the bodies resurface. So that's not the article I was talking about, but I kind of want to touch on a couple of things. Excuse me. I find it interesting that they legitimately point blame to the Coachella Music Fest, which, I mean, makes no sense. Social media induced loved to death syndrome. And U2. How the heck are you blaming Bono? I mean, one of the most corniest bands to come out of the 90s. You're gonna blame them? That, what? Makes no sense. But then they talk about all this other crap, you know, Joe Pesci. You're not talking, this article is solely written to show that there's something going on at this park. And then they fill it with bullshit. Joe Pesci, blame. A couple things that they mention, though, is otherworldly desolation. Yeah, it's pretty freaking creepy out there, if you ask me. But then they mention a couple of other neat things, that a morbid vibe, lawlessness, Charles Manson. Well, as we know, these strange paranormal, and when I say paranormal, I'm looping Dogman, Sasquatch, other cryptids, apparitions, UFOs, what have you, portals. All right. As we know, the paranormal, for some reason, is huge in sites like this. Skinwalker Ranch. Why do you think Skinwalker Ranch is so friggin' messed up? Well, because that's where the Navajo slaughtered the Ute. And we're not talking like small. This was huge. Gettysburg. Gettysburg has an enormous amount of apparition sightings. The strange is drawn to these places. So that's not the article, but it pretty much spells it out for you. Hey, we're a bunch of idiots. We're going to play the blame game, but there's shit going on. This is interesting. Missing person search initiated in Joshua Tree National Park, May 24th, 2021. National Park Service, in partnership with San Bernardino County Sheriffs and the California Highway Patrol, is conducting a missing person search at Joshua Tree National Park. Joseph John Alvarez Espinosa, or Joey, 20 years old, of Oceanside, California, was last seen by a family member who dropped him off for a hike on Sunday, May 16th, 2021. Park staff became aware that he may be in the park on Sunday, May 23rd, and began to search that day. He is believed to be alone. Espinosa was last seen approximately 30 miles east of 29 Palms on Highway 62. He was walking south into the desert. He is described as a Hispanic male, 5'8", 300 pounds, with black hair, brown eyes, last seen wearing dark blue or a black t-shirt with Matthew 4.4 on the back, black cargo pants, black shoes, and carrying a canteen. Joshua Tree Rangers are asking anyone who may have seen or talked to Espinosa to call or text the NPS investigation tip line 760-401-3075. Rangers request that anyone conducting a private search should cease so that they can assess the areas without contamination of physical clues necessary to this investigation. A missing person investigation is still ongoing. No further information is available at this time. Coroner's office has positively identified the person found dead at Joshua Tree National Park as 20-year-old Joseph John Alvarez Espinosa. Espinosa has been reported missing since May 16th. San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department confirmed the body found in an open desert within the park boundary at approximately 10:55 on Wednesday. The body was found by crews taking part in the active search and rescue operation being conducted by the NPS southeast of Ironage Road and 29 Palms Highway in Wonder Valley. Crews were out at the park searching for Joseph John Alvarez Espinosa, aka Joey, 20, who had been missing since May 16th. A news release by the Sheriff's Department revealed that Espinosa had been dropped off in the area of Ironage Road and 29 Palms Highway in Wonder Valley by his grandmother after he told family he wanted to go to 29 Palms for religious purposes. On Monday, the search was expanded to Joshua Tree National Park after reports that he was spotted in the park over the weekend. Members of the San Bernardino County Coroner's Division and Sheriff's Aviation responded to the scene to assume the death investigation and recovery. The identification of the deceased male is pending at the time. Anyone with information related to this investigation is urged to contact Detective Aaron Holloway with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, Morongo Basin Station at 760-366-4175. Huh. Crazy, right? Something that popped up at me, though. A lot pops up when you're reading these. You've got to really listen or read. But to the normal person, they would read this and be like, oh, wow. Coroner's office has positively identified the person found dead as Joseph John Alvarez Espinosa, right? The last sentence is, the identification of the deceased male is pending at this time. Same article. What? Does that make any sense to you guys? Because it makes no sense to me. There's more. Joshua Tree National Park officials found a body in the park days after they began searching for a missing man. Patrick Lynn Wells, 38 years old, from 29 Palms, was last seen on June 5th, leaving for a drive to Riverside to visit his father, according to National Park Service. 5 days later, he was reported missing to the National Park Service. Park officials began searching for Welts and found his truck abandoned in the parking lot. Joshua Tree Rangers said Monday that they suspended the search for Welts after a body was found within the park. The body has not yet been identified. Park officials did not say where or how the body was discovered. A recovery operation is ongoing, park officials say. Identification is pending an investigation by the San Bernardino County Medical Examiner. This is the second hiker death in Joshua Tree in the past 30 days. A 20-year-old body was found after being missing for 9 days in May. Joshua Tree encompasses 800,000 square acres of desert land and has few faculties within the park. Weather can change quickly. There is no cell service in the park. Though beautiful, the desert environment can be harsh and unforgiving, park officials say. Preparedness is critical for your safety. Same area, guys. Same area. Something's up, right? I mean, come on. Also, Patrick Lynn Welts, right? But now the identification is still pending. We'll never get an autopsy report. We'll never get anything. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. They'll lie to us. They'll just keep lying. Lie to the sheep so the wolves can eat. Right? That's how it is, right? I mean, God. This is the article that I was talking about earlier in regards to whoever wrote this. Does not have blinders on. They are clearly writing from the view that someone like us has, someone that is looking to have the truth, whatever it may be. Also, it shows that there were 2 other deaths in the same vicinity, that the previous 2 were only 4 months earlier. Also, there had been numerous deaths. It's a very long article. I'm not going to share it all with you. I'm just going to share some of the key important parts of it with you. Posted February 5th, 2021. Panic in Wonder Valley after 6th body turns up in less than 14 months. So now, with the previous 2, we're talking about 8 and 20 months. A corpse found near Amboy Road and Dandy Road on Sunday, January 31st, represents the 6th body found in the area in or around Wonder Valley in the last 14 months, and has triggered even more intense speculation than was afoot previously, suggesting a killer is at large in the area. Nevertheless, law enforcement officials have downplayed the discovery and intensifying rumors that the deaths are related and represent anything more than likely misadventures in the unforgiving Mojave Desert environment. Unknown is whether one of the bodies is that of Erica Lloyd, who had driven from her home in Northern California to Joshua Tree National Park, vanishing last June. In December, it was disclosed that one of the bodies was that of Wonder Valley resident James Escante, who 9 days after Lloyd went missing disappeared from virtually the same spot where Lloyd's damaged vehicle was left abandoned, and less than 2 months later was found dead. 3 of the 6 bodies found have now been identified. Seemingly enough time has elapsed since the 2 of the bodies have been discovered for DNA testing to have been completed to determine whether those match any known missing individuals from the local area, the Southern California region, or elsewhere. If such identification has been made, there has been no public disclosure. DNA and other forensic examinations are being carried out on the body found January 31st. It is not known yet whether results from those tests subjected to comparison with available data on known missing persons will provide an identity. Meanwhile, many residents of Wonder Valley, a remote, unincorporated community with fewer than 700 residents, some 10 miles east of 29 Palms, spread out over 146 square miles, have expressed their belief that they are not receiving any protection either from the state of California or San Bernardino. The California Highway Patrol no longer regularly oversees that stretch of Highway 62. The county of San Bernardino shut down its primary presence in the town, Fire Station 45, in August of 2019, and has discontinued Sheriff's Department patrols, dispatching personnel to Wonder Valley only when specific calls for service deemed serious enough to warrant a response. Excuse me? Really quick, but what kind of shit show is that? So, you've got a small community that has really no anything. There's a reason why. And I'm thinking that the San Bernardino, the government of California, knows what's going on. Something's going on and they don't want any involvement in it. Otherwise, the California Highway Patrol would still be patrolling Highway 62, which makes no sense of why they are not patrolling that area. It's a highway and it's California state land. So why aren't you patrolling it? The county of San Bernardino shut down its presence, a fire station? What? And discontinued sheriff department patrols, dispatching only when specific calls are deemed serious enough. that's fishy alone, man. Right? I mean, right? And this guy or person, whoever wrote this article really pushes it. And I like that. They also, what I say, hey, it's been long enough for an autopsy. Why hasn't there been any public disclosure? The Lloyd and Escalante disappearances are both baffling and troubling. The more so because they occurred within the same relative tight 8 to 10 day time frame. Indications that both were or may have been in virtually the same spot when they disappeared. Law enforcement has, officially at least, ruled out foul play in the disappearances of both in the face of indications otherwise, and involve circumstances that in some respects come across as downright incomprehensible. Now, the next part is really long. Like I said, it's a very long article. I printed this out, and it's 5 pages, which is absurdly long. Pretty much what it states is just who Erica Lloyd was. She was a 37-year-old single mom, hairdresser, and left her kid at home with a friend. Went camping just to get away. COVID kind of put a cramp on her business, this and that. They ended up finding her car, a 2006 Honda Accord, vandalized. Front windshield was just ripped out. Back window was. Side windows were. Dashboard damage. One of the person who towed the vehicle said that it looked like she had just smashed into something huge. Just like the motor was pushed back, the air conditioning compressor or whatever was ruined, radiator trashed. Her car was just a shit show. Yet she wasn't found in it, and it looked like she just radiator and air conditioning condenser were pushed backwards as if the car hit a very large object head on. But yet she was not in the car. There was no blood in the car. They scoured the area with helicopters. That effort was not fruitful. Lloyd's camping gear was located at a campsite in Jumbo Rocks Campground. An expensive Yeti cooler she was not known to have owned was found along her possessions at the campsite. So who cares? She could have bought a cooler. I mean, honestly, that's just, in my eyes, they put shit in like that because it just... But anyway, they even sent out... they put a special alert out for this poor girl. They did a really intense search and rescue for her. 3,000 square miles of desert, including the Joshua Tree National Park, 29 Palms, Yucca Valley, outlying areas, and as well as Highway 62, which the California Highway Patrol, or CHIPS, here's Ponce when we really need him, no longer patrol. But if Ponce was still, we know it would be. Then on June 25th, June 25th of 2020, 10 days after Lloyd's car was found by rangers, damaged and or vandalized, they put, in the parking area of Indian Cove Campground, 9 days after the car was found abandoned, 8 days after she was reported missing. 56-year-old James Escalante left his home located off of Shelton Road, which ironically enough, her car was spotted on Sheldon Road, whose name is Sherry, rode his bike. apparently his girlfriend's friend had her car stuck in the sand. He went to go help her. When Escante, who was also named Blackhawk, nicknamed Blackhawk, reached the intersection of Highway 62 in Shelton, he used his cell phone to call Sherry, telling her that he didn't find Dee or her car. Sherry then made a three-way conference call to Dee and told her to honk her horn. According to Sherry, she could hear over the phone the honking of the horn. Escante indicated to her he could hear the horn and told, "I got it," and hung up. Thereafter, Escante never made contact with Dee and was never heard from again. On July 22nd, a dirt bike rider found human remains in the desert, located not precisely in that area. And then on August 8th of 2020, a man who was going shooting in the desert found a badly decomposed body on Sheldon Road in Wonder Valley. Oddly, Sherry did not report Escante as missing until September 7th of 2020, doing so after Escante's family expressed concern about his unexplained disappearance. That's a little strange, right? But they did rule out foul play. So something's just off with this whole area, this whole Wonder Valley, 29 Palms, Sheldon Road, and Highway 62. Another corpse, was found also not too far off from Sheldon Road and Highway 62. It just, something is going on very odd in this area, and these are not the first people. Obviously, they said 14 months, 6 people were found. Then the spokesperson for the sheriff's department, Cynthia Bachman, said the information available to her was that 4 bodies were discovered between December of 2019 and last Sunday, which was January of 2021. Bachman said that human remains were found in Joshua Tree on December 23rd, on January 24th, on January 16th. Another body was found on January 16th. Another body was found on February 12th. Another body was found on May 14th and July 22nd. And then in August 8th. What's going on? Really, I mean, now, like I said, I'm not saying that Dogman is responsible. I'm not saying Sasquatch is responsible. There very well could be a killer out there, right? That is made of solid steel that a car in the middle of the desert ran into and just was totally smashed. Something's going on. Something very fishy. And something smells like Skinwalker Ranch to me. If you ask me to be honest with you, I truly feel that there are certain places on this earth that we are not meant to be. We're not the apex predator that we think we are, because we have firearms, the ability to speak, vehicles, computers, cell phones, this and that. not the apex predator. If a portal opens up right now in front of you and some sort of clawed monster thing reaches out to grab you, what are you going to do? Nothing. You're screwed. I have the one where her car was found. For some reason, I'm not clairvoyant. I've never, but for some reason, when I close my eyes and I talk about it and think about it, I just picture her driving and a portal or something opening, and bam, something coming out and destroying her car completely, because the dashboard was trashed, they said. This is terrifying. This is really terrifying. And, the one article from the Sentinel is pretty much the only one that's speaking true. The others are just like, we'll give them random information to keep them, at bay. So they don't want any more info. Move on, nothing to see here. That's what it's like, right, guys? I don't know. Anyway, this is a very different and unusual upload than normal. I did a lot more of my own theories and my own kind of speculation. If you don't like it, I apologize. I feel like this needs to be addressed, and I gave you guys the articles, I gave you the information. Now, you guys make your own theories, your own speculation, because mine is just a theory.
Alright folks, I hope you all enjoyed this informative middle of the night bonus upload as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. I'd like to thank you all for all of your support. Your support is what makes this channel special and what makes it continue to grow and go. It is truly appreciated. Everyone, please stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant, keeping an eye on our children, our pets, our family, and friends. These creatures are real. They are out there and they are dangerous. Share this information with the people you love and care about, and it may just help save their lives someday. Until next time, never stop asking questions. Never stop searching for answers. And God bless. And there you have it, folks. I hope you all enjoyed today's bonus as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. I'd like to thank you all for supporting this channel. It is, after all, your support that keeps this channel growing and going, and what gives us all a place and a chance to share our experiences and theories judgment-free. Everyone is simply treated with the respect that we all deserve. That is because of all of you. Thank you. Please stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant, keeping an eye on our children, pets, family, and friends. These creatures are real. They are out there and dangerous. Share this information with those you love and care about, and it may just help save their lives someday. Until next time, never stop asking questions, never stop searching for the truth, and God bless.